September 22nd, 2021, and mango season is essentially over. We've had a very different kind of season. Some of the trees flowered early but then lost their bloom. Some of them flowered at the normal time. Sometimes a few trees of a certain variety didn't produce very well. It was just not really a normal year. But here we are at the end of the season, and I am standing next to a couple of the very last mangoes of the season. These two are Beverly, and Beverly, of course, is a late variety. You know, its buddies in the late season are like Neelam mango and Kit, and Palmer. Those are all very typical. But our Beverly trees, we have 4, and the other 3 trees were finished producing fruit like about 3 weeks ago. And this one still has a few fruit on it. I have no idea why that is. But anyway, for the late season mangoes this year, of course we had Kit, and Neelam, and Beverly, but also had Palmer. And what was really weird was until like 1 or 2 weeks ago, we still had a few Valencia Pride. Now, Valencia Pride is sort of a mid-late mango. Usually we get that in the end of July, but here we are in September. In the beginning of September, we had some Valencia Pride. Now, that was basically from one of our trees. We have several Valencia Pride trees, but one of them didn't produce very much fruit for the normal time. And since it didn't hold any fruit, I guess it was ready to flower, and it flowered again at a weird time and ended up giving us this very late Valencia Pride fruit. So that was a good thing. Here we have this, the Beverly, and I have no idea why this particular tree is on a different schedule from our other Beverly trees. But it is nice to have, like one tree fruiting at a different time than the others, because it just extends that season for the fruit, for getting that fruit. So here we are in the land of 15-gallon potted mango trees. And here is one of the last mangoes in the grove. So technically it's not a grove tree, it's one of the trees we have for sale, but still one of the last mangoes that we have. And this particular variety is known as Marliss mango. And Marliss has the nickname of all summer long because it has a very long season. But I'm thinking that this particular variety, especially having the fruit on this tree, might make people think that all summer long isn't very accurate. And perhaps we'll say all summer long and early fall. But anyway, this particular mango looks like it's ready to pick. Now, it's smaller than Marliss mango usually is, and that's because this root system for this potted mango tree is just a fraction of what it would be if this tree were in the ground. So it's just not able to grow huge fruit like our regular established Marliss mango does, but this is still going to be very tasty. So and finally, we have Palmer, and we have this cluster of fruit right here. This one looks like it's very close to being ready to pick, and this other one, and then we have got these 3 puny ones on the other side. I doubt that these little ones are going to reach full size, but we'll have to just see. Anyway, Palmer is a late variety, and so it's not a surprise that we have mangoes on the tree at this point, but it's a variety that doesn't always produce a lot of mangoes. Like last year, I think we had very few mangoes on this tree. And this year, we have picked mangoes starting, I think, about a month ago from this tree. So these are like the last mangoes. We've got a few more palmers, and then this tree will be trimmed like all the other trees. We have this tree, we have the Beverly that still has mangoes on it, and I think that there's one of the Valencia Prides that we haven't trimmed all the way yet. It doesn't have any fruit on it, but right now is a great time to trim your trees if you haven't done so yet. We try to trim every tree every year, and I think this year we pretty much have done that. A huge number of branches have been chipped up, and the mulch is all over the grove. It helps the soil, and of course helps feed the trees. But after you trim the trees, it doesn't happen immediately, but it will send out new growth, and then hopefully before the first cold snap, all of that new growth will mature. So for instance, like these leaves here, they're not quite mature, they're almost mature. But then we have a lot that are darker green and not as flexible, and those are, like mature leaves. So there's a quick look at our last mango varieties of 2021. We would love to know what your last mango varieties were this year. So if you could leave that information in the comments section below, right down there, that would be wonderful. Also, if you haven't trimmed your trees yet, there's still time, but do that soon. Trim your trees so that they can be ready to rest and flower, and hopefully 2022 is a great season for us all.